How you doing over there?
Man, I haven't caught anything today.
Yeah, pretty slim pickings.
Yeah.
There goes one.
Meh.
Too small?
Yeah. You want to go get some more beer?
Yeah, we need more beer.
All right. How about we go get some more beer and watch The Meg?
That's a great idea. Follow me.
So I'm glad we decided to go back out after we got our beer and bag that shark. I mean, I'm so stoked I got this back fin, and then you got a little baby shark.
I caught a fish.
Yeah, you did. And
Yeah.
It was great. Good job gutting that thing, too. So we just saw The Meg. That was the other thing we did, aside from kill sharks for soup.
Oh, I don't remember that. We saw a movie?
Yeah, we did. We unfortunately saw The Meg. And I will say, without a shadow of a doubt, this movie sucks. It's a $150 million sci-fi original movie.
We said that right in the first 5 minutes. So many things added up to be just straight out of the sci-fi playbook. Bad writing, terrible acting, really just god-awful acting.
I don't know I don't know what's worse, the writing or the acting, because they're both on par with
They
complement each other wonderfully. The
Yes,
terrible
they
acting
certainly
with the
do.
terrible writing.
I mean, Jason Statham as a lead actor, he's never a strong actor. He's there to kick butt.
It's Megalodon.
And in this one, it's not about him being a hand-to-hand fighter, so it's not really his wheelhouse, in my opinion.
No, it's not. It's hard to kind of picture if someone did try to really take the source material seriously and give it a try, because it could have been an epic fail. This is an epic fail just trying to be a schlocky good time, because it's really kind of boring.
Yeah, it's kind of dull.
But if they really did try to take it seriously, like I said in the theater, like you get someone like Ed Norton to play whatever he was supposed to be. I thought he was supposed to be like a Steve Zissou type of guy, but in the movie, he's just like a guy who rescues everybody.
This movie was like a mix between Armageddon and Deep Blue Sea and just all those late 90s disaster movies that tried to have their own little gimmick. This movie felt so 90s. This movie was boring and stupid, but I still enjoyed it more than I did the latest Jurassic Park movie. Like, just as a straight-up monster movie with bad performances in it, there was more for me to enjoy than there was in that last Jurassic Park movie.
This one is just, here's all these toys, here's all this money, here's Jason Statham. I wanted more Jason Statham-isms.
It's Megalodon.
I wanted more. I mean, there was a few, like, it's a Megalodon. We've seen that one in the trailer.
It's Megalodon.
But I was expecting goofier lines. But don't get me wrong, this movie is full of fucking cheese.
Serious groaners when you hear some of this dialogue. I mean,
Yeah.
I was a lot of unintentionally funny parts in this movie.
Very much so, yeah.
Some ridiculous moments within the action scenes that had me laughing, jumping the shark at moments.
Literally.
Yeah, it was ridiculous, but I think that's what we expect. Late summer. The movie's called The Meg, just from the way the previews were setting up that there was a little bit of a comedic element to this movie, but I think that was misrepresented, because I think like Rainn Wilson is supposed to be one of the bigger comedic side characters in the film, and I don't think he was very funny. I kind of liked his character, what they did with his character in the film to some degree, but he wasn't very funny, and no one else was really adding the humor. They had kind of the standard token black character in the film, which felt very 90s.
God, and he was so not funny. Not his fault. The guy was trying.
Sure.
Those jokes were bad, and like they literally tell you, okay, here's our funny black guy.
I am the token black guy. I'm just supposed to smile, stay out of the conversation, and say things like, damn, shit, and that is whack.
And you got to put in a musician as a character so that the whole movie could be soundtracked from one of the characters in the movie, kind of like LL Cool J and Deep Blue Sea, My head is like a shark's fin, or whatever it is. My head is like a shark's fin. Okay, so the guy, John Turteltaub, the guy that directed it, we were talking before the movie, I was like, he's fine. He is not terrible. This is probably the worst thing he's ever done as far as the director goes, because this is bad. Like, the underwater looks bad. It looks cheap and small.
Yeah, the whole movie felt small. I think we thought it was going to be a little bit bigger production than it turns out to be. I kind of appreciated the setup of the movie, that it took its time.
I do too.
That it didn't immediately jump into too many just schlocky over-the-top shark scenes. Like, they try to take some time to set up the shark. But when you do start to see the shark in the movie, it doesn't look very good or realized. It's CG the entire time. That's a really important part for me. If you're going to make a monster movie, even if it's a schlocky one, sure, it's a shark, it's a mindless killing machine. But, I don't know, I wanted a little bit more out of the monster, maybe even some like intelligence shown by the monster where it outsmarts the people at times, but it really just, whenever they needed it to, comes up and bites somebody. Yeah, and that's about it.
And that's that point is great that you bring up, because is there supposed to be a plot to a movie about a gigantic shark? I guess that is supposed to be the plot, but talk about having no twists or turns or anything other than the straightforwardness of a giant shark has somehow couldn't get out of this depth of water.
There was bubbles.
There's
protecting
bubbles
it from getting
like
out.
a cloud. So now it's up, and the goal is to just immediately kill it, and that's all anyone cares about. There's no moral discussion about this thing has existed for millions of years. The opening scene you're talking about, where it does kind of take its time, that was the best scene in the movie. Is the whole submerge down and kind of get caught down there, and then the rescue thing, because that is building towards something. And you're right. And then as soon as you see it, I was so let down. I was like, wow, it doesn't even look
impressively large like it should.
No, it doesn't.
They never really set the scale properly.
It looks like Godzilla from the 1998 one. It keeps changing size
throughout the
Sometimes it's fucking giant when it comes up and clobbers an entire ship, and then the other times when Jason Statham is fist fighting it, it looks a lot smaller.
Sci-fi level. Sharknado level to some degree.
It kind of was. The only reason that I would say Sharknado might be a level above something like this, at least those ones go for shitty, schlocky CGI blood and gore. This movie was devoid of gore and hardly any violence. That's one thing I'll tell you right now. If you're thinking of seeing this for that reason, don't, because it is not in it.
And that's what shark movies need. They need a little bit of blood. Even if you're going to be a PG-13, like I think The Shallows was, at least it still had you scared for the main character. Like, you see these moments of violence on screen, even if they're just a little bit of blood in the water, it still sets the stage to be a much scarier scenario than a shark that could eat a whole boat, but it's not scary in any way.
The Shallows did it in sort of a Hitchcockian way, whereas this one did it in a very Ed Wood kind of way.
Yeah.
I'm just surprised that this movie got not only a green light, but got some recognizable stars and got the money that it had and got a backing from a studio and said, let's go PG-13, because the only thing that we have going for us is blood and maybe some unnecessary nudity.
God bless America.
Let's strip all that away, make it almost like a family-friendly adventure.
Yeah.
And see where we go.
I mean, in this film, that's what I expected. I didn't think I was going to get high-quality character
Well, I just love, and I won't give it away, but the Shark Tank idea. What the fuck are you thinking, man? It's just ludicrous. This is not a regular shark. Hey, let's just put someone in a fucking shark tank and attach it to our boat. Okay, so there's a scene in this movie where one of the characters' little daughter is walking through this big futuristic-looking underwater space station, and she turns around to see the Meg staring at her. But when you see the girl's back and you see the shark, the Meg, staring at her, it reminds me of the Finding Nemo poster where you see the little Nemo floating in the ocean.
So for my gulp gauge, this movie didn't do much for me. I was sitting there rolling my eyes a lot, groaning at the acting and the writing. I wish this film maybe was, like you said, taking itself serious, done this story in a serious tone with serious actors involved, make it a little bit more like an actual Jurassic Park where you're finding a prehistoric creature that everyone thought was lost. But I also think the overtop element of a giant shark destroying whatever it's going to be, boats or an undersea lab or whatever. I don't know. There's only so much you can do with that before it becomes schlocky and over the top. So I think they had to stick with this tone rather than take it too serious. I did appreciate, one little element I appreciated was that they showed respect to these characters. Even though they're terribly written characters, they constantly brought up mourning when somebody dies. I appreciate where they were going with that, but it wasn't the movie I was hoping for. So my gulp gauge for this is going to be a 3.5.
Yeah, I mean, mourning is a good way of putting a lot of things, a lot of missed opportunities in this movie. I mourn the fact that the director pushed for an R rating and the studio didn't give it to him. I mourn the fact that it's a killer shark movie with no blood in it. I mourn the fact that a lot of the intensity is brought down in order to give Jason Statham action stunts. I mourn a lot about The Meg. It's not a terrible, terrible, terrible movie. It's gonna fucking tank at the box office. People aren't gonna fall in love with this. I'm gonna give it, I guess I'm gonna go a 3.75 gulps for me.
All you had to do, John, remember one thing. Bottle opener.
No. Can't you just open those bottles with your teeth?
You can open them with your ass. Anyway, that was our review of The Meg. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, as always, click like and or subscribe to Cinema Gulp today. Leave some comments in the comments section. Click that notification bell to see what we're up to next. Don, where can they find you?
You can check us out on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. As always, for Cinema Gulp, this is John.
And this is Ben.
We drink your cinema.